When I talk with family members and family caregivers, they often express concerns about the quality of care and potential neglect when placing elderly loved ones in residential care homes. These are known by different names in different states. For example, personal care homes, group homes, board and care homes, and adult family homes. These homes are not the large assisted living, memory care, or nursing home communities that you see. They are smaller care settings. In fact, you might even drive by one and not even notice it. Elderly care homes accommodate a small number of residents, usually up to 10, but the numbers are different in each state depending on where you live. And to avoid confusion, I want to make a distinction. There are similar care homes for persons diagnosed with disabilities at birth, but in this video I'm specifically talking about quality of care and potential concerns about neglect in elderly care homes. Now, I will say for either population, elderly people or persons with disabilities, neglect occasionally happens. Serious personal injuries occur, as well as preventable deaths. The result of these is litigation by family members or estates against elderly care homes and their staff, or sometimes litigation against a court-appointed guardian, conservator, or a family member who might be a power of attorney. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert and advocate. I know about elderly care homes and larger assisted livings, memory care, and nursing homes because I have owned and operated companies offering home care, care management, and fiduciary services for over 25 years. I've also served as a court-appointed guardian and conservator, a medical and financial power of attorney, and a trustee for clients. Today, I serve as an expert witness in these areas, supporting law firms and their clients who might be the plaintiff or the defendant. I've worked with excellent and amazing elderly care homes and elderly care homes that were not so good, both small and large. In my opinion, the quality of care in an elderly care home depends on the ethics and the standards of the owner, the skills of the home care administrator, and most importantly, the quality, training, and longevity of the care staff, plus the involvement by family members, family caregivers, a guardian, a conservator, or a trustee. Caring for older adults really is an effort not done only by one person. So let's talk about neglect for a second. Neglect of elderly persons include things like poor hygiene, a lack of bathing, person who has frequent urinary tract infections, skin breakdown, rashes or bed sores, dehydration, poor nutrition that leads to weight loss, poor supervision by an administrator or other staff that does result in physical injuries. Maybe medications are not being given according to schedule. There can be residents diagnosed with dementia who are over-medicated because they're viewed to have problem behaviors and the staff isn't trained to respond appropriately. Sometimes residents are yelled at or even isolated from everybody else because staff are not trained to care for them. There can also be a lack of coordination with medical care providers and a lot of other concerns that show up as neglect. So how does this happen? Neglect in residential care homes and similar communities happens when care staff are inappropriately hired in a rush, not trained, not supervised, when they don't understand their legal duty of care for the elderly persons they are responsible for, when they don't follow procedures and policies or state and federal standards of care. Neglect can also occur when a court-appointed guardian or a conservator or a medical power of attorney who does have a fiduciary duty to care for an elderly person fails to fulfill their responsibilities. to ensure the staff at the personal care home are adequately caring for the elderly individual. Some states have no training for guardians or conservators or power of attorney. The National Guardianship Association, to which I have belonged for many, many years, is an excellent source of training for anybody who is a court-appointed guardian, a conservator, or a medical power of attorney, and this even includes for attorneys who work with these individuals. Now, I will say that some fiduciaries, guardians, conservators, power of attorney, can attempt to place responsibility or blame on a care home administrator or the staff when neglect occurs. Fiduciaries have a legal responsibility to coordinate care, supervise care, monitor care, and also to evaluate the reliability and the quality and the accuracy of information and care provided for an individual. Now, similarly, owners and administrators of care homes and home care staff have similar legal responsibilities because of duty of care and federal and state standards of care. So, how on earth does care in an elderly care home go wrong? Well, the first situation is you might be really surprised, actually shocked, to learn that states have varying requirements for these care home administrators who oversee the care in the homes. Now, the requirements are a fairly low bar, which might be surprising since these individuals are responsible for the life and the well-being and the care of frail and vulnerable elderly, and in homes for the disabled, homes for persons with disabilities. Elder care, caregiving, it is not for everybody. It can be a demanding job. It can feel like a thankless job, which is why, in my opinion, more rather than less training and higher standards rather than lower standards might really be a good idea. So you might be wondering, what are the training requirements? Well, these vary by state, but for most states, and I'll give an example of the state of Colorado. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment requires an individual to complete a 40-hour training program and pass an exam. Administrators of care homes must be over age 21, have a high school diploma or equivalent, 1 year of experience supervising the delivery of personal care services, including activities of daily living. They must pass a background check and complete an application and pay their fees. Now, if you compare that to the requirements of a CNA, a certified nursing assistant, federal requirements are a minimum of 75 hours. So 75 versus 40. And of these 75 hours, CNAs have to have 16 hours of supervised practical training and monitoring how they care for individuals by an RN or an LPN. Plus, they have to pass a competency exam and registration and pay their fees. And then there are continuing education credits. So if you look at the difference between an administrator and a CNA, 40 hours, 75 hours, is there any wonder why elderly in care homes in some states receive less than appropriate care, are subjected to neglect or abuse? Is there any wonder why family members are concerned about placing a loved one in care home and potential injuries? And, sometimes this results in litigation because people are harmed. Family members trust care homes and the staff and the owners and the administrators. And basically they turn over the care and the lives of their husbands and wives and aging parents and grandparents to an elderly care home administrator who in some cases has less training, education, and experience than the certified nursing assistants who work in the care homes that the administrator in most cases supervises. I have known so many families with concerns who are afraid to say anything because they were afraid that the staff would ignore or mistreat their loved one, or the administrator would be angry with them, or they would ask their loved one to leave, or they don't want to get care staff in trouble. Well, if you are a family member watching this video, speak up, express your concerns. Don't allow your fears of what might happen to allow a loved one's care to be neglected. Because if you don't speak up, the worst possible situation may happen. Your loved one may be neglected in some manner. Your loved one may experience a serious personal injury. They may unintentionally die because of some detail that wasn't handled. Now, I will say, if it's too late and you are in the process of filing a lawsuit as a result of a breach of duty of care, or a lack of care home administrators or their staff following standards, and your loved one was injured, and you need an expert witness, you can contact me by visiting my website. It's PamelaDWilson.com. Click on the services button, and then one of my expert page links. The links are also below this video. I thank you so much for being here, and I do encourage you, please do advocate for your loved ones. Express concerns if situations come up. Talk to the administrators of the care homes. File complaints with the Department of Health if necessary. Do whatever it takes to get the best care for your loved ones living in any type of residential care home facility. I thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all again soon in another video.